It's been 9 years of GST. When GST was rolled out way back on 1st July 2017, it completely transformed India's indirect tax regime. And this topic is still very much relevant in UPSC exam or any other state exam. So in this particular video, we will discuss what is GST, what are its categories, CGST, SGST, IGST, GST Council, items which are outside the purview of GST, and what all in these 9 years GST has achieved. We will discuss in detail. I'll assure you one thing, if you complete this video till last, you will get a complete insight of GST and you will be have a good chance to score great marks if any question come through GST. So let's start the particular topic. First of all, 9 years of GST. When I'll say 9 years of GST, when it was rolled out in 2017, the objective is very much clear, to reduce the cascading effect of tax. But eventually with time and with the latest round of GST reforms, the objectives are becoming more clear. First of all, we need to reduce the compliance burden. We also need to reduce the rates of GST, and we should make GST more tax compliance friendly, and as well as we also need to promote ease of doing business with the clear cut objective to promote inclusive economic growth. But before knowing more about what all happened in these 9 years, let's start first with basics. GST was applicable from 1st July 2017. It's a destination based tax. That means where the goods and services finally being consumed, there the tax will be that particular states will get the tax benefits. And the most important point is, only the whatever the value addition we are doing, it will be taxed, and the final burden will be bear by the final consumer. So in 2004, Vijay Kelkar committee has recommended the GST, and through 101st constitutional amendment, GST is enforced. GST Council under Article 279A is a constitutional body. Now, moving ahead, before that, it's a good news for anthropology optional students. If you want to take a particular coaching for anthropology optional batch, this particular batch is for you. It will be taken by Saurabh Mishra sir, and the batch will start from 21st of July 2026. It's an online English medium batch, and for further details you can scan this QR. So if you want to take anthropology as an optional, it will be a great chance and great opportunity for you to learn under Saurabh sir. Okay, so now GST categorization. GST is categorized into 3 major categories, that is CGST, state, SGST and IGST. Now what all this is? Central GST is imposed by center, state GST is imposed by state. But knowing all these things, I'll make it clear by a simple example. Suppose a goods or service is produced in Rajasthan and it is being sold or consumed in Rajasthan only. That is intrastate. On that particular good, CGST and SGST is applicable. Suppose that particular product attract a 5% GST rate, CGST is 2.5% and SGST is 2.5%. But if a goods and service is being produced in Rajasthan and sold in Gujarat or consumed in Gujarat, in that case, IGST will be applicable. That is integrated GST. Now under Article 269A, the proceeds of IGST is distributed between union and the state where the goods is being consumed or sold. The formula is given by GST Council, that how much the amount will be go to center and how much the amount that particular state will receive where the goods is being finally consumed or sold. This is being decided by GST Council. And regarding to CGST, under Article 279, CGST to be distributed between union and states as per the formula given by Finance Commission. Recently 16th Finance Commission was constituted, and accordingly they will decide it. And under Article 279A, GST Council set up as a constitutional body. Now friends, let's discuss more about GST Council. As I told you, it is a constitutional body under Article 279A. GST Council consists of 33 members. How these are the 33 members, that is 28 from state, 2 from center and 3 from UTs. Now the quorum is 50% of total member. 50% of total member means 17 member must be there to have a meeting of GST Council. States should have a weight of 2/3. That means 22 weight out of 33 is given to states and 11 weight is given to center. So if you look on a face of it, you will feel the states are more powerful. But wait, this 22 weight is distributed among 28 states and this 11 weight is distributed among the centers. So with the decision being taken by 75% majority, that means 33 ka 75%. So without centers participation or without centers what I can say, without centers consent, the decision of GST council can't be taken. So it's a perfect example of cooperative federalism. Now you may ask a question, sir, what is the role of GST council, why it is being created? So all those items of all those different items regarding to goods and services, what kind of tax rate is applicable, whether it will attract 5% tax rate or 18% tax rate, it is decided by GST council also only. Even they will decide that if earlier the goods will be taxed under 18% regime, and now if they want that it should be taxed under 5% regime, that is also being taken care by GST. That is also being taken by the decision is taken by GST council, and they had also a power that they can exempt a particular good from GST also. So this is the power of GST council. Now, extremely important topic, GST Appellate Tribunal. So GST Appellate Tribunal is a statutory body established under the Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2017. It's a second tier forum for resolving conflict between taxpayer and tax authority. Now suppose I have a issue regarding to refund or regarding to GST registration. First appeal will go to GST Tribunal, and from there the appeal will go to GST Appellate Tribunal. But if there is a matter of consent between center GST or state GST, if there is any kind of issue between center GST or state GST or regarding to the amount of collection, it will be a first common body to hear the matter. So for settling dispute between center GST, CGST and SGST, it will be act as a first common body for settling the dispute. The principal bench of GST Appellate Tribunal is in New Delhi. The national bench is headed by a president, that is former Supreme Court judge or High Court Chief Justice, to hear the place of supply cases. 31 state benches across 45 cities with 2 judicial member and 2 technical member. Then president and judicial member are appointed in consultation with Chief Justice of India. Extremely important point. The president and judicial member are appointed in consultation with Chief Justice of India, and the president of the appellate tribunal should hold the office 3 years or until he attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier, and shall be eligible for reappointment. This is very, very important point. Students usually forgot that this point, that they are also eligible for reappointment. Next point that is very important, they are not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. The GST Appellate Tribunal is not bound by Code of Civil Procedure. It act on the basis of natural justice, which regulate its procedure. Then it possesses the civil court like power for summon, document, affidavit, commission and requisition. Now friends, this is again a kind of question that UPSC may ask, which of the following items are outside the purview of GST? So alcohol for human consumption, state government continue to levy excise duty and VAT. Petroleum products currently excluded from GST. Petroleum crude, high speed diesel, motor spirit, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel, all these items are outside the GST purview. It's a request to all of you guys, please follow the updated current affairs for these items, because might be in future following items out of these may be included in GST also. Then I hope that you all are waiting for this part, that what are the key achievements of GST over the past 9 years. As it was rolled out in 2017 and it's 2026 now, it's been 9 years. So what are the key achievements of GST? The first is unified national market. The objective of GST is very clear. One tax, one nation. This is the first objective. So GST introduced the one nation, one tax framework by subsuming 17 taxes and 13 cesses, reducing the cascading effect of tax. As I told you, when it was introduced in 2017, the objective is to reduce the negative effect of cascading effect of taxation. Then wider tax base. The broaden the tax base is जितना टैक्स बेस ज्यादा होगा उतना ही टैक्स टू जीडीपी रेशियो विल improve. And if the tax to GDP ratio will improve, it will for sure reduces the debt to GDP ratio. So GST registration increased from 66.5 lakh in 2017 to 1.65 crore by May 2026, reflecting greater formalization of economy and improved tax compliances. Then higher revenue collection, gross GST collection rose from 7.4 lakh crore to 22.7 lakh crore, indicating strong compliances and economic growth. Friends, this is very important. If you make the tax system more friendly, if you make the tax system more compliance based, if you introduce more formal system in taxation, the tax buoyancy will for sure increase. And the more the tax buoyancy increases, there are more chances that the revenue collection will enhance. So GST collection have become a key high frequency indicator of consumption, trade and formalization, with 4.37 lakh crore collecting during April-May 2026. Apart from that, as I mentioned, that GST Council is the perfect example of cooperative federalism. It strengthens center-state coordination through consensus-based decision making and through policy refinement. With the introduction of more DPI, digital public infrastructure, and with digital tax administration, the GSTN network has enabled digital tax compliance, because now we all understand this fact that with the young generation coming with more of digital mindset, we also need to promote this digitalization. So digital tax administration is controlled through GSTN, that is network, which enabled digital compliances, led to e-invoicing, pre-filed returns, and automated reconciliation, which led to improved efficiency and transparency also. Now, this is again a kind of topic that can be asked in mains. A UPSC mains question can be asked like, what is GST? What are the categories of GST? What is GST appellate tribunal? Or what are the items excluded from GST? But they may ask a very important question, what are the next generation GST reform or GST 2.0? GST 2.0, the objective is very clear. We need to reduce compliance burden and we need to enhance ease of doing business. This is very clear thought process of policymakers. Second important point is that simplifying GST rates. Earlier we have the rates like 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, which creates lots of confusion. Now we have two standard rates, one is 5% and another is 18%. So to make it more predictable and to make it more easy, then 40% GST on luxury and sin goods, those goods which government want that people should consume less, they impose higher GST rates on them. So higher tax imposed on lottery, online gaming, tobacco, aerated drinks, luxury car, yacht, private aircraft to maintain revenue and discourage consumption. Then a very important point, GST Council also understand this fact that we need to reduce the GST or exempt the GST on most essential categories. So as a result of that, lower GST rates and exemptions on insurance. Government had a target that insurance for all by 2047. So lower GST rates and exemption on insurance and essential medicines to improve affordability and household saving. Then they also want to support MSMEs because they are the engines of economic growth, and they want to reduce GST on inputs, especially cements and handicraft. So the production cost will less. If the production cost will be less, the product's competitiveness will improve, and that will also channelize more profits for MSME. And as I mentioned that if you make tax buoyancy more better, if you simplify the regime, if you simplify the compliances also, it will lead to easier registrations, return filing, faster refunds, and lower compliances costs, especially for MSMEs, startups, and taxpayers. They are attracted towards it because now the people also understand their responsibilities, that if we want our nation to grow, if we want to see our country becoming a developed nation by 2047, we also need to contribute. And GST is a kind of a contribution. It's an indirect tax that all people need to pay whenever they used to consume the goods and services. Now friends, a question for you people. Okay, Before that, let's discuss the challenges in the current GST framework. I had forgot that. The first challenge is exclusion of key items. Still, many of the economy scholars and many of the policy makers and those who are retired people also say this thing, that some items, especially alcohol for human consumption and 5 petroleum products, are outside the effective GST framework, which create tax cascading and input tax credit chain. Incomplete input tax credit chain. What is this input tax credit? Suppose I paid the taxes on raw material, I can claim the refund when I pay the final taxes. That is input tax credit. So many of the cascading effect, because petroleum, alcohol, these are outside the purview of GST. So the cascading problem still persists there, and this incomplete input tax credit chain also persists. Then rate and classification dispute. Disputes still maintain over classification, exemption, product specific tax rate, why this particular good should attract 5% tax, why it should be taxed at 18%. So disputes still being there. Then delay in GST 80 decisions. GST Appellate Tribunal, full functioning of GST Appellate Tribunal delays are there, which increase litigation, delay in dispute resolution, also create this kind of problems. Compliance burden on MSMEs. We had promoted ease of doing business, we had promoted single window clearances, but still many MSMEs complain that there are frequent notifications, return filing, their input tax credit reconciliation changes, which actually creates more compliance cost for them. And the biggest is center state revenue issues. States want more revenue, center want more revenue. States say these items should remain outside the purview of GST, center want these items should be the part of GST, delay in GST refunds. All these are the major challenges associated with GST. Now, there's a question for you guys. You can attempt this question and mention in the comment what is the right answer of this question. Let's test your knowledge as well. So it's a request to all of you, attempt this question and mention in the comment what is the correct answer of this particular question. So before ending this particular topic, I'll also tell you this thing. It's a good news for UPPCS prelims, UPPCS aspirants. We launched our prelims test series for 2026 that was started from 5th of July. It's in online and offline mode, in Hindi and English medium. Total tests 27, 15 sectional and 12 full length with 6 GS plus 6 CSAT test. Offline fees is 2499 and online fees is 1499. By scanning this QR you can register, and by calling on this particular number you can ask for further details. So this is about UPPCS prelims test series, and I hope friends you get a clear insight of this particular topic, and you also get a complete information regarding to GST. If you really like this video, mention in the comment and do share this video with your friends and groups. Thank you and take care.